Hi, I will set up Identity Server 4 on my local machine. My local machine is Windows operating system. So it is Windows 10. So first I will show the open source Identity Server 4. So identityserver.io. So this is the open source. It is built on the top of the .NET. Using the identity server, you can provide single sign-on, identity management, authorization, and API security. If you click on this source code, you have the different projects here. Just if you click on the identity server, so this is the Git repository. Just if you go down, if you see here, identity server is a free and open source OpenID Connector OAuth 2.0 framework on ASP.NET Core. So here you can go through these all details, and if you see the releases, the current one is the 2.5 preview 2, and each release it will give whatever the enhancement and bug fixes, features. These are all. There are the some commercial products also there. If you go to the commercial products, this is the like how to enable the identity server as a XAML 2p 2.0 and some admin user. These are all. And there is a documentation. You can also go through that one. If you click on here, there is a documentation in detail. You can go through that each scenario how you want to configure. Okay, now I will be going to be create a identity server 4 using ASP.NET Core, and next I will create a client, IMVC client, to use the identity server for authentication and authorization. And I will create third application is the API, web API, and to call the client application to the API with secure way. So let's start to create a identity server 4. From the Visual Studio, you can't find the template. You have to go to the command prompt to create the project. So I will use, you can use the command prompt or PowerShell. I will use PowerShell. I will go to the ISC. Okay. So currently, like I am the user's Venki, so I am moving to see samples, and to execute the single line in this command prompt, you can use this button. So, or you can press the F8. If I want to run complete all the steps, you can click on this one. Okay, I will execute line by line, so I will use this command. So it goes to the C, and I'm create a directory for our project. ID server for the basic project directory is created. I'm going to that directory. So next I am creating one more folder, SRC. So going to the SRC. So now in the SRC path, so here I am creating the identity server project. So to find the templates, we want to know like what are the templates are available in the Visual Studio. Just use this command .NET new -L. So you can see the list of the templates. If I see in the middle, these are the like 6 templates are there related to the identity server 4. So there is a admin UI template and ASP.NET core identity, empty entity framework, in-memory stores and test users, and then quick start UI. You can go through these all, and in this demo, today demo, I will use in-memory stores and test users. So this is the name of the template name. I will use this one to create the project. So .NET new, give the template name hyphen name. I will give the identity server 4 dot in memory. So the project is created. So I am going to back of the folder and the basics. Now I am creating so solution is created. Now I am adding the project to the solution. For that, .NET solution add and give the path of the project. So this is the project path. Now added. So if I check the folder, first I created this folder and I created a SRC. Then I will create a identity server for project using the in-memory template. And I come back here, created a solution, attach that project to the solution. Now from now onwards, you can work on the Visual Studio. So I will open this. On my local Visual Studio 2019 installed. This is the structure if I open the Visual Studio. Just I will run this solution without changing anything. And server 4 is running with the port 5000. So it is using the version 2.3. So you can click on the documentation. So if I click on the discovery documentation, there is a specific path for identity server, that is a well-known /OpenID configuration, and this gives the configuration of the identity server. This is a superset. So any clients wants to call integrated with the identity server 4, that set should be subset of this one. So if I go here, just view, just JSON viewer. If I go here, this is the issuer nothing but the server URL, and this is a JSON web token, the URL of this one, and rest of the endpoints. The endpoint starts with the domain name, the URL, domain name / connect and a token, user information and session like this one. And if I see here below the scope, the identity server supports, these are the maximum scopes, OpenID profile API 1 and this one. You can also add if you want at present, and these are the claims you can configure. These are the grant types it will support. These are the response types it will support. So this particularly the OpenID configuration gives that one complete metadata of the identity server 4. So if you check, so I want to check whether it is working or not, use that account /login. We'll go to the login page, and there are some test users because this solution, the template, already locally there are the 2 test users are there. Those test users you can see here. If you open the quick start, you have the test users. This is the in-memory test users are there. One is the Alice and then one is the Bob. So the password also same. I will use for testing Bob. So if I see that Bob is successfully logged in, now the identity server is running and it's working. So this is the 2.3 version. Previously we saw 2.5 is there, and you can check if it is suitable. Those features are there, you can use that one, but this might be the more stable version. Now let's see the configuration. This project, This identity server, as per the configuration, it is using the ASP.NET Core. Let me check. Okay, it is using the ASP.NET Core 2.1. If you see the configuration, this is the configuration of the identity server. So for configuration, it starts from here and it will end here. So what, see, add identity server, this is the function which configures the identity server, which is in the identity server for DLL. Okay, so we are calling like we are at the configure services. So the dynamically dependency injection works, and it will it will create a object of the identity server, and by using these default configurations, and after creating the instance of that, we are adding the add test users. Okay, whenever someone try to use the system identity server, these are the list of the users. And later on, this is a sample application. For example, if you want to use the ASP.NET identity, you can use here, instead of add test users, you can use the ASP.NET identity. So it will use the identity ASP.NET identity for user authentication. And this is the add in-memory identity resources and API resources, client resources. These are all reading from the configuration at specific sections. So if I see here, this is the app settings. If you go to the app settings, the first one is identity resources. So here in this section, all identity resources are reading from here. How many identity resources are there? OpenID, and we have the profile too. And if I come in here, second one is the API resources. Currently it is configured only one API resources, API 1. Third one is we have the clients. If I check here, there is a one client, second client MVC, third client SPA. 3 clients are configured. So this is the configuration of the identity server, and we can, the second one is this one. In the configure section, you have to use identity server for configuration. You have to app.use identity server. You have to this line, and this is the section which makes on the top of the ASP.NET Core identity server. They added this configuration, then it will act as a identity server. So now I configure my identity server, which is I showed that one, which is running now. So I will be going to create a client to use this identity server. Next, I can create from here directly. Now I will create. So I'm taking like a core web application. I'm selecting this one, and even just if I see, if I try to identify the identity server, there are the 6 templates we saw from the command prompt. If I try to search here, you can't find here. That's why we went to the command prompt to create those all. So I'm selecting this template, and where I want to create is, I want to create under the SRC. So I'm keeping some dummy project name, because identity server should be different application. We are hosting on different domain, and the client may be in the different domain. So I'm using the different as of now, like I have to explain, I'm creating all the 3 projects, 2 projects on the single solution. Generally you can make it separate solutions, and you can deploy in separate server. So tool.portal. So this is my client application. Okay, so I'm taking this template. I uncheck HTTPS. So now I am selecting this, set as a startup project. Just I want to check without changing anything whether it is running. Now it is running. If I click on the about, it's okay, it's contacts, okay, and if I index, okay, it is nothing but a home page. If I click on the here, same, it will redirect to that one. Now I will as a this is the client, okay, now running. I want to provide the security for my client, that is the tool.portal is my public website. I want to provide the security to this one. So what I will do is I will add a login. So what I can do is I will go to the shared, go to the layout, okay, here land is a login. So for the login I will create another controller here. So what is the controller I'm having? I am going to be create login. This is, you can take as a action also, login or index, you can keep it whatever it may be. I'm putting login. So here the action name also. So you can just, I will stop here. Okay. So here just I'm deleting the rest of the default actions which is created. Okay, this is the index. As I said, this action name I will create as a login, put is a login, and okay, I am going to be, so okay, so I am going to be add the view. This view generally, like how it will work, just I want to show that one, then how regularly like security we will provide. Okay, we have, this is the login page. Just I have the snippet of the login, just I will copy from there. So I copied from the snippet. So what it was there, whenever I click here, it will go to the login controller and action name is login. So it will jump on here, it will go to the view. This view is redirected to here, it will show this one. Okay, let's run again. Okay, if I click on the login, you can see on the this here, you can see on the bottom side, login controller, login action. So it is the login. Here, if I enter something, username, credential, if I click on the login, you can create here the one more action, sign in. You can create one more action as a sign in and you can link there. So whatever, so whenever it, you can generally like a normal applications where the action results, sign in. So what it will, you will take the parameters here and you will perform the authentication here. Right? This is normally, it happens like this one. But in this, if it is, this is a normal scenario. So in this one, what you need to observe, whenever you click on the login, you are showing the view, the login page from your local, from your portal. So whenever we are like using the identity server means these login screens will be in the identity server. So just you redirect into the identity server, that will take care to show the login screen. So I will show these all. I will integrate, instead of this normal flow, I will integrate the identity server. So the first integration, there are the two steps you need to do. This is the server already configured. So this is the client in terms of the identity server and client. So this is the tool.project is the client. So inside the client, two configuration you need to do. First configuration is in the startup. So in the startup, after in the config services, I will set up here configure identity server. This is the client configuration. Okay, so what you need to do is services. Okay, I will write separate method configure identity server. So we need to be pass this as a parameter. Okay, so it is the method it's creating. Okay, now so services dot so add authentication. We need to call add authentication, and inside that you have the the options lambda. This is a lambda expression syntax, and I will create one more method here to simplify that one, or you can just use that one. Options dot okay, just I will the better we create separate function so that it will be clear, and set. So if I see here, if I click on the F12 on the add authentication, we will check quickly what are the parameters. It is I will use this constructor. Okay, add authentication options, we need to be fill that one. So if I go into here and just I'm creating a method with set options. Okay, and this I'm passing as a parameter. So it is separate method. Okay, here add authentication will give authentication builder. So I'm giving the default properties. So okay, keep it here, the void options dot. You need to fill the two things, default schema and options dot. You need to fill the default challenge schema. So you can write this one, the string as a cookies, and this is the OpenID Connect. This is the strings. You can assign this one. If I see the default schema is string type, string type, but there is a built-in constants or there we will try to be used for more readability. So where it will there Microsoft .ASP.NET Core .authentication dot this is the cookies, right? It is in the cookies namespace and cookies authentication default dot authentication schema. If I see this one, the constant is a cookie, so we will use this one. For this one also, up to this one is the same. Dot OpenID Connect dot OpenID Connect defaults dot authentication schema. Even if I see this one, OpenID Connect, the same constant is there. We will use the constants. Okay. Now this is here. Okay. Next one is builder dot. We have to add cookies. Add cookie. Second one is builder dot add OpenID Connect. So for OpenID Connect also same thing. I'm creating the lambda expression and set what is this one. So it will set OpenID authentication option. Okay, let me check F12. So it is giving OpenID connection options. Okay, just set options and pass the variable. Okay. So this is fill the options OpenID configuration we need to do. The first one is authority. You have to give the authority, and second parameter is OpenID Connect dot. You have to give the client ID. Next one is OpenID Connect required HTTPS required metadata, make it false. Next one is OpenID scope. You need to add the scope dot. The scope is the one is a profile dot. Scope is another one is the profile, and we have the scopes here. So if you go to the identity server and OpenID and OpenID and profiles, these two are the. And next one is we have to set options dot response type. What is the response types? So you can check it here, the response types, the JSON. This is the server configuration is right. So if I check the response types are code, token, ID token, ID token, token, code, ID token. These are all different permission. I will use the ID token. Small ID token. So authority is nothing but of the URL of the identity server. What is the identity server URL? So if you can click on here, go to the properties. Just I'm showing because I know it is a 5000. Okay, this is the, and client name, you can give any unique name, but this ID name, client ID name, should be matched with the whatever the client's ID name in the configuration. Just I'm giving my project name tool.portal, and I will check tool.portal client is registered there or not. If you go to the identity server app settings, no one is there. Just I will create this client because I will similar concept configuration is required for me, comma. So what is the client is the tool.portal. Just I'm giving the client name. Okay, this is I will fill this configuration. Next just I'm completing first this one, startup, and tool.portal is there, and rest of things is fine. Then I'm coming here on the server. Okay, the client is registered here, and I don't want at present, I don't want the secrets. So client grants, I will use the implicit. This is fine for me. I don't require, I will explain when I require hybrid. Okay, implicit, and at present I don't require API 1, and this is not required. So these two also not required at present. Just redirect URI. So coming to the client, so I will set for this is a 5000 is the identity server port, and for instead of some random number I will set it as a 5001. 5000 is the identity server, 5001 is the client server client. So this same URL I need to give it here in the app setting. If I go, okay, already 5000 is there, good. So up to here, just I'm replacing. So redirect URL should be your client domain and slash sign in OpenID DC. This is the for every client, this is the same. Okay, now I registered my client here. How many properties? First one is the client ID is the main important one. This should be matched with whatever the client ID you given in your application, and the name, that's fine, anything, and the allow grant types implicit. Okay, I will explain what is this one, and scopes, OpenID profile and profile, and whatever this is the superset you are specifying here, and whatever you specified in your project, this scope should be equal to this one or less than this one. So if you have the OpenID and profile, and in your client you can't give one more scope. here as a API 1. It is wrong because at the server, what is the maximum scopes are there? 2 are there. You can't give 3 here. It should be 2 or less, okay? And second one is the ID token. So, okay, for ID token is nothing but of just I want to authenticate, that is enough for me. I don't want any access token. Okay, that is done. That's why if I here ID token and in the server it is configuring equivalent to the implicit, that is fine for me. Okay. Now I am running the 2 applications because this is the first one. Okay, sorry. Okay, this is comma is deleted. The first step is I am configuring in the configuration service. I am adding the authentication by setting the OpenID Connect, and this is cookies is required once it is authenticated. For second page, third page onwards, we don't want to again hit the identity server. So the identity token that it will be encrypted and stored inside the cookies, so that second time it will check the cookie already it is authenticated. It doesn't go to the server. That is the purpose of that one. Okay, this is step 1, and the step 2 we already registered that client here, and step 3 is you need to set here app dot like use authentication. You need to tell to that one. If you miss this step, it doesn't do any authentication. Okay, this is also client side identity, so part of the identity server configuration. The fourth step is you need to be challenged in your login. So whenever you click on the login, it will hit here. Here you, instead of your local view, you have to return. There is a challenge function will be there. So if you click on the challenge is not the identity server one. It is the like a Microsoft MVC core function. So within this one there are some overloadings are there. I will use this overloading. So the first one is I need to fill this authentication properties. Go to startup here. Sorry, this is the login page, login controller, right? Okay. The first parameter is this one. So within this one we need to only fill the redirect. Okay. First I will resolve this one. Redirect URI you have to give, and the second parameter is authentication schemas, that is the param string. So the what authentication schemas are there? Microsoft dot ASP.NET Core dot authentication dot OpenID Connector. There is a default dot authentication schema. This is the OpenID, like the constant I'm giving OpenID Connect 1. This is one F. What is the redirect URL means? Once it goes to the identity server, you authenticated it again, it has to redirect to your specific function. So I will give that one, go to the home just for your instead of okay, just go home. I can redirect to the home, right? Yeah, index. So home controller index action. Okay, so now the fourth step also completed. Now let me both are integrated. Let me run. Before running that, I need to starting project should be both should be running, right? So I am selling the multiple startup projects. Start. Running now. This is the identity server. This is my portal. I am clicking on the login here. So if I see here, the login checks that one, the user already logged in or not. It did not log in. So it redirects to the server. That's why if I can see this one, it redirected into the this server URL. So this login screen is part of the identity server. So I am just, the two in-memory users are there, Bob. If I click on the login, then it will ask these are all permissions. So one is your identifier and profile. These two, why it will show is this is based on the configuration how you configured here. Here for the client you said okay, these two you said, and in the same way here also in the startup you specified what is the scope of what is okay, sorry, this is this one. Okay, sorry. If I click on here, you specified what is the scope, profile, and OpenID. OpenID nothing but of a user identity, profile is nothing but of this one. Okay, I'm clicking yes, yellow both. So it is already authenticated and redirected to the home page. Now you can't see any difference. Now what I will do is, if user already authenticated and instead of login, I will show the logout, and I will display here what is the ID token and access token and the claims you have. I will try to show here so that it will be easy for you to understand. So what I will do is I will close everything. The first step is I will go to the portal, go to logout. So if I check here, if context dot user dot identity is authenticated. If it is a true, if it is not authenticated, I will show the login. If already authenticated, I will show the logout so that you can see the difference. The same thing, if you click on the logout, login controller and logout action. So this logout action I will try to be add here. So go to the login, public action result, logout. Okay, I will fill the what is the character. Just I will fill it here. What we need to do, we need to call sign out. Okay, here if it is authenticated, logout, otherwise login. Okay, next one is go to the home page. In the home, this is the index, right? We'll go to the home page. I will try to be show here. Okay, I will show if context dot user dot identity dot is authenticated. If the user already authenticated, try to show this one. What is that one? Div is equal to class row. I want to show that one. So inside this, the two are there. The one is we need to be get ID token and access token. Just I have the snippets, I will copy from that one. Okay, so here what we are doing is we are getting the ID token. It is from the authentication HTTP context, and we have the get token async, the pass the context, and this is the key. You will get it. This is the access token one. And once you get the key dot result, it will give the ID token and dot result access token. And there is a context dot user dot claims. You have all the claims of part of the ID token, and just type and value I'm displaying here. This is one. Now I will try to be run. Build this one. If let's see if I Okay, does not exist in the current context. Previously it was here. Just I'm moving inside this div class row to resolve the errors. Okay, now it is sure the issues are resolved. Now I will run these two applications. So just I'm closing here. Okay, first login. It did not authenticate anything. I can't see anything here. If I click on the login, so it will redirect to the server. And I'm giving the Bob. So it is asking, I am giving, okay, hello. So if I see here, it is already authenticated. That's why like logout was there. And if you check here, the ID token and the access token, and okay, ID token is not there. Just I will check quickly. And if I see the clients, okay, this is the name identifier. This is the unique ID. I will quickly check why it did not give the ID token. Yeah, I think ID token is did not save because it is giving but it not saved due to, okay, let me check. If you close this one, so there is a one function we need to call in the client side, in the tool.portal. If I go here, one more thing we need to be calling is options dot save tokens. We have to call this, otherwise it doesn't save. Okay, sorry, it does true we have to give. Okay, I'm running again. If I see here a logout first, okay, I'm doing the logout. Okay, first a logout functionality we did not implement it yet. That's why like I'm going to the server. If I see already login, I'm logout from the identity server. Okay, so if I come in here, refresh again. Okay, what I can do is I will close the both and I will rerun, so that once the logout is implemented, you can see clearly. Now I will try to check here. Okay, this both are running here. I'm closing and running again. So login, I'm clicking on the login, enter credentials, give the permissions, logout, and if I see the access ID token, okay, this is ID token, and you can't find the access token. I will explain later on. Now the simple the client authentication is done. So this is only the your requirement and the application is ready to use and it is done. So the next step I'm moving is, there is a like third-party API. I want to call that API securely. How we can do that one? So first I will create a API that may be in your project and which is hosted on the different server, or that may be like third-party API. If the third-party API, still we can secure using your like using access token. So let us assume, for example, you have the another project like API project. I will create it. This is under SRC. So this is let us assume like it is also a tool.api, but I plan to host in a different server. Okay, this is the API. Just I don't want HTTPS. Okay, this is the API one. Just I will set up this, set as a startup project and see what it is there in default template. Okay, it is calling. Okay, that's fine. If I go and check here in the values, we have this function. Okay, let us assume I'm deleting everything. Now just I am giving the different name as a route. Okay, just I am saying that one get data. Instead of get, we are calling as a action name as a get data, and here I am using lines is equal to http contest dot user dot climbs. So x dot type x dot value climbs dot, sorry, we have to use select. Okay, and then I'm saying okay, new, I'm giving anonymous object, name is equal to just the values API, and so clients is equal to clients dot to array. So this is the one. Now to call this, generally to call this API, okay, this is not required, just for, okay, just actual result. Okay, so to call this API, you can call it is not secure now. Just this is the API. Let's see what is the outcome if you run this API. Okay, what is the, something is missing. So you have to call given get data. So we got, like, there is no claims, that's why like it is displaying. Now we will try to integrate this one. Okay, the first one is you have to be like configure in the client API side. So after in the configuration services here, configure identity server in API section, just I'm giving configure server by passing the services. Okay, services dot add authentication. So here I am options dot the default schema is equal to that I'm setting the default schema as a Microsoft.ASP.NET Core authentication, the bearer JWS bearer dot bearer default dot authentication schema. So we have to be set the default schema in the API project as a like JSON web token bearer. Okay, this is its default schema. The schema is just bearer. Okay, the next one is, so it will create a builder. Okay, so this is a, I created object of that one, and the builder dot add AWS bearer, and options you have to provide some configuration. Set what this method has the properties to fill. If I go there, okay, this is options, we will use this one. Okay, set the name. I'm putting the same thing, options. I'm creating one function to fill that one. So the name I put it the same way. Okay, now options dot. Couple of things we need to be. First one is authority. We need to give it that one, and the second one is the audience. We have to give, and the third one is a HTTPS. Required HTTPS metadata false. These are enough. Okay, what is the authority means? Again, the identity server. So what is identity server? Just what we given here. Here also, if I see the authority, whatever we are given, we will use the same thing. Okay, what is the audience? Audience is the, like, now you can give one API resource name here. The API resource name is nothing but of, if I come in here in the identity server, if I go to the app settings, there is a two resources. One is the identity resources. This part of the identity resources, OpenID profile, comes under the scope. There is a second resource is the API resources. This is the one name. Okay, just here this resource is only for me. Let us assume I'm calling as a tool.api. Okay, tool.api. Here I can give tool API services. Here also I'm giving tool.api. This is the API resources. This is who is calling this one. My client tool.portal will call this API. So in this tool.portal also, the client side you need to configure the resources. So if I coming to, I'm at the identity server. First I'm creating the API resource as a tool.api, and if I go to the client tool.portal, I will allow here the same resources, API resources, API dot like tool.api. This resource is nothing but of this resource. Okay, server side is done. Now coming to the client of the tool.portal, I am coming here. I will make sure it has the proper permissions here. Okay, scope add tool.api. I am giving the permission to the client also. Third one is whenever I coming to the tool.api, under the audience section you have to give the same name, tool.api. So indirectly I am creating one API resource at this level. I am specifying, while registering the client, I need to specify, okay, this client is allowed to access this particular API resources. So in the client section also you have to specify, in the tool API section also you have to specify. So now next one is you have to be decorate. You should be secure right now. Okay, the first one is what? 1 second. Go to the tool.api startup. What we done is, okay, this is one, the set period token we count this one, and here use API again dot use authentication. This is also to use authentication, that is we want to say is this one. And next one is we have to add the API level. You have to say at control level you want to provide the security, then use the authorize here attribute. Otherwise you want to provide only authorization to the specific action, you can decorate at the action level. Okay, I'm providing here. So now I am going to be call this API from this portal. So for this one, how do I call is go to the logout and add an action method. Okay, this is the call API. So go to the home, call API action. I'm creating one action in the home. Go to home. Okay, just I'm creating public action result call API. Okay, just I will return you. So from here to do call API tool API. So I will copy the code from the snippet to call the API. Copy it from the snippet. Okay, just I resolve the errors. So this is what is expecting. It is a task. Async. Okay, here this is the URL. I need to give the API URL. So what is my API URL? Just running here. So here okay, we will fill it that one. If we go to here, okay, this is the URL. API values and get data. Okay, this is the URL of the API, and from the HTTP context I am taking the access token, the same code whatever we use the layout, but there in the views you only call HTTP is a context only, but inside the controller you have to call HTTP context. Okay, I'm getting the access token, and from the access token I'm creating the HTTP client, and in the part of authorization I'm setting the bearer as access token, and this rest of the logic is same, how to call the API. Only thing is we are setting part of the authorization the bearer token, that is the access token. Now there is one more thing is, now the integration everything is done, like we are calling here the API the secure manner. While calling to the API we are passing the bearer, the header, and this is the access token is a value. Once it is received by the API, it will cross check with the identity server, okay, is it valid or not. There is one more thing you need to be set is, like if I go to the or this one, if I see the configuration of the client, what is the okay, not this one. If we go to the app settings, how we configure, let me check, because it was previously implicit. If you use the implicit you will get only the ID token, not the access token. So I need to get the access token. For this I need to change from implicit to hybrid. Okay, this is the first one we need to do here. And if I come into here in the portal, inside the portal, if I go here, response type I'm expecting only ID token. No, I want the access token also. Then you have to use the response type code space ID token. Okay, this is the two things we need to do. Now Let's run the three applications. So for this one, okay, next one more thing is, yeah, once it is called, so we have to create the view. We did not yet created the view for this one. Just I'm creating the view. The view is created. Just I'm just displaying the JSON view data. So where it was there is, once I got the response, the JSON, just I'm storing in the view data. The same thing I am displaying here. Okay, now come to the solution. Go to the properties. Set. I need to run the 3. Okay. I will try to click on the sign in. Unauthorized client, unknown client or client not enabled. Okay, let me check quickly. One more step we missed. That is, we need to be set here the secret. So to set the secret here and the, okay, let's close. Go to the tool.portal, startup. Here we need to set one more step is the client secret. If you change to the hybrid and you want the access token, it should be encrypted. So we need to be provide the secret. So the secret is the new GUID. You can give that one. I will use the PowerShell to generate the new GUID. Just running. I got the new GUID. So I'm giving this one secret. Even like if you try to use the Google Authentication, it will check the client ID and secret. It is similar to that one. Okay, this is the client secret. We need to give this one, and the same thing we need to configure the server also. While configuring the server, it doesn't work if you give like directly. That means if you go to the app settings, just you need to be set it like this, the client secret. So it is not a like GUID. You should not give directly the GUID, whatever you have. So this is the GUID, but you have to convert into the SH256. So for this one, just you need to pick. Very simply, come here. You have an extension. If you go to the server, and just I'm calling here. Where secret is equal to SHA256. There is an extension, string extension inside. Inside the identity server model, we have that extension. Just try to use that one. Just I will run once again. So we got the breakpoint. Move next. It converted this one. Copy this. Go to the app settings and provide here. So the GUID we converted to SHA256 and we should be provided here. Okay, this is the way it has to be configured. Then this startup, just this line is not required for me. Now let's run again. Okay, now this is the login. I'm clicking on the login. Okay, so pop. So click on the allow. So it is authenticated and you can see the access token here. Okay, just I'm calling the API to check quickly. So the API is called and we got the client, and you can check the details here. Now if you check, if you go to the home page and if you check the access token, what it contains, because it is encrypted. So I want to go to JWT.io to check like what access token contains. If I copy paste here, if I see here, it contains everything. What is the like identity server? This is the URL of this one, and what kind of audiences are there, like toll API is there, and what is the scope OpenID profile, and it contains everything. Okay, now the final step is just I will complete the logout. So if I click on the logout, it will go to the action of the login logout. Okay, go there. So if you go to the logout here, there is a function logout. Use this one. So while you can go to this logout F12 and you can feel this overloading method. This is the authentication properties, and you need to give the authentication schema. So once you log out, you need to give the redirection URL. Okay, redirect URL. So this time I'm saying that once log out, go to the about action. Okay, this is the one, and second parameter is I need to give the schemas. Here I will give OpenID Connect schema as well as cookie schema also. Just I want to be sign out. Okay, cookies authentication default authentication schema. Okay, the two schemas I passed this one. So the sign out I'm doing this one. The one more step we need to do is in the identity server also you have to specify these two, like indirectly these two. Previously we removed. If it is a sign out, is whenever you're implementing sign out, these two property, the front channel logout URIs and the post logout redirection URL, you have to give this one like the URL of the whatever the client. Now 501 this correct one, and it ends with by default is sign out OpenID Connect. This is sign out callback OpenID Connect. Okay, let's run this again. So if I see it's already logged out, that means previously the identity server we did not close that one, that's why it is already logged out. And just I'm clicking on the sign out. Let me check. Okay, it redirected to the identifier server, and it is asking, okay, logged out, click here. So it directly jump on the home about. Okay, just I'm clicking. So now again I'm clicking on the login. Okay, another user credentials. It will ask the data. If I click on here, it will redirect on the home page, and you can see all the details here. If I click on the logout, it is jumping on the about action because I'm giving that way. So one more thing is just quickly check if you pop, you can see here the application access, this name is not displaying. That is the problem of here. If you go to the identity server here, display name is this one. Let me check here. display name. This is the okay. I'm giving here because this display name, it will show that one there. Just running again. So first I'm clicking login. So now you can see that what is the resource name. Okay, this is logout, and give the rest of the functionality same. Thanks for watching.